Welcome to this machine learning case study. Today we're going to be talking about the paper titled Enhanced Phytoremediation of Vanadium Using Coffee Grounds and Fast-Growing Plants, Integrating Machine Learning for Predictive Modeling. So elevated concentrations of vanadium threatens human and environmental health. Sources of vanadium pollution include ore mining, coal smelting, and combustion of vanadium-containing fossil fuels. Removal of vanadium by phytoremediation, which is the extraction of a contaminant using plants, is more environmentally friendly, cheaper, simpler, and more efficient than other remediation methods. The paper talks about using coffee grounds as a fertilizer. Coffee grounds are rich in cellulose, lignin, proteins, lipids, and mineral nutrients. They contain a nitrogen content of 3.47 to 4.60%, making them effective nitrogen fertilizers. Coffee grounds can serve as a sustainable, low-cost alternative to traditional commercial fertilizers. Benefits of this include the fertilizer effect that promotes plant growth and the absorption effect that encourages plant heavy metal uptake. So this paper starts out with talking about the physical plant-based experiment where ryegrass, wheatgrass, and barleygrass, which are all short growth cycle plant species, were grown and tested for their ability to remediate vanadium contaminated solutions. Coffee grounds were evaluated for their effectiveness as a fertilizer and remediation efficiency enhancer. Plant samples were then processed and characterized via spectrophotometry to determine internal vanadium concentrations. For the machine learning portion, the input or predictor variables were plant type, presence or absence of coffee grounds, initial vanadium concentration in the solution, and number of days of growth. Output or response variable was the vanadium concentration within the plant. Dataset was split with 80% of that being used for training and 20% for testing. And the input data underwent z-score normalization to ensure that all input variables were on a comparable scale and that no one feature would dominate the dataset. There were multiple machine learning models used. A linear regression model, which explores the linear relationship between dependent variables and the independent variables. Ridge regression and lasso regression, which improve linear regression. A decision tree, which represents different decision paths and outcomes. A random forest, which is an ensemble of multiple uncorrelated decision trees. Support vector regression, which finds the optimal hyperplane that minimizes the distance between that plane and all data points. Gradient boosting tree, which builds multiple weak decision trees and combines all of their prediction errors to enhance overall model accuracy. And extreme gradient boosting, which is an optimized gradient boosting technique that can handle larger data sets with high dimensional features. For the results, tree-based models were found to significantly outperform the other models with higher goodness of fit and lower error rates. This is likely due to inherent feature selection, resistance to noise, and an ability to handle nonlinear relationships and high-dimensional data. The ensemble methods, so the random forest, gradient boosting, and extreme gradient boosting models, improve generalization and stability through aggregation of multiple trees. These figures show the mean average error, the R-squared value, and the mean squared error of the training and testing sets across all of the algorithms tested. Gradient boosting achieved the smallest mean square error on both the training and the test sets, with values of 0.42 and 1.20 respectively, and R-squared values of 0.98 for the training set and 0.95 for the test set, making this the top performing algorithm tested. Feature importance regarding influence on gradient boosting accuracy in predicting vanadium concentration were as follows, with initial vanadium concentration being the most important feature, followed by number of days of growth, then plant type, then the presence or absence of coffee grounds as a fertilizer. The figure is a radar chart analysis showing again that the most important feature was the initial vanadium concentration. So the overall predictive performance was satisfactory. This figure here shows the predicted vanadium concentrations over the days of growth as compared to the actual values. The authors suggest that adding more key input variables, such as plant physiological characteristics, including leaf area index and root structure, as well as environmental conditions, including temperature, light, and humidity, could help further improve prediction accuracy. So, to conclude, ryegrass was the species that displayed the highest removal efficiency of 48.7% within 6 days of growth and at an initial vanadium concentration of 20 milligrams per liter. The addition of coffee grounds significantly improved vanadium phytoremediation efficiency. And the gradient boosting algorithm was the best performing machine learning algorithm with an R-squared value of 0.95 and an MSE value of 1.20 for the test set, indicating that it is the best model to use for vanadium remediation prediction and optimization. If you'd like to learn more or read the paper for yourself, you can find it at this full citation. Thank you for watching.